Great, sounds perfect. That's so exciting. Okay, guys, awesome, cool. So today I've got a really interesting stream for you guys, and we're going to be uncovering some occult knowledge surrounding the current systems at play. Before I go ahead with today's presentation, I would first like to give you an update on where it is exactly that Earth United stands right now at this very second. As you know, my name is Jesse Perez Casanova, and I've started a global organization called Earth United. I'm working with a remarkable man by the name of Christopher James, and we have an unprecedented solution that truly has the ability and power to finally restore law on this planet, as well as provide us as sovereign beings with true freedom, something we have never ever had. So I just want to let you guys know that I'm going to be using a more structured, more focused presentation style. So I just want to get some things out of the way first. Number one, if you'd like to donate, please go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. Would really appreciate that. And I'm going to explain to you where these donations are going. It's actually incredible what it is we're doing, the progress we're making. Let me just go head it over and switch over to the screen over here. Well, let me just see if there's a screen. Great, guys. So basically, I'm going to be mentioning anyone that donates right now in this live stream at the end of the session, which I will also be reserving for a question and answer time for questions that are related towards Earth United and what it is we're currently doing right now. As I said, we have a remarkable solution, and in the background, we've made some absolutely incredible progress. We have connected with some remarkable networks all over the world, and I'm just so relieved and I'm so happy and I'm so trusting of this process. I'm not going to lie to you, in the beginning, you know, I knew it had to be done, I knew it could be done, but it was very stressful because I didn't know how it would be done. But, you know, God is definitely on our side because everything is just falling into place, and I'm seriously glad for that. So those of you that did see my announcement earlier this week, we are creating an application where we're going to be going ahead and creating an application that's going to allow us to not rely on Facebook and all of these applications anymore, and it's going to support our current mission to secure freedom. Guys, I don't know if you realize, but we're in a situation where it's never been more serious. The need for all of us to get together, the need for us to act, and the need for us to have a practical solution has never been more necessary. So it's so important that you support us in each and every single way possible. We'd really appreciate that. Having said that, let's go ahead with today's presentation. Let me just get my beautiful face on the screen. I saw someone said I've got a nice haircut. Thank you very much. This is the first haircut I've had in ages. So you know, they say if you look good, you feel good. But I'm also meditating, and my spirit looks good as well. So that's very important, guys. So let's get on with it. So today, my lovely friends, so today, the title of this video, it's all about the origin of tyranny and being able to actually explore the origin of these systems and this world it is that we live in, and this corruption that just seems to be each and every single where you look. No matter where you look, there's corruption. I would like to go ahead and say thank you very much to Jordan Maxwell, in my opinion, one of the world's most remarkable researchers. And I really do appreciate all of the research he's done. And it really has inspired me to go forth and create this presentation. So let's start this off. The entire system is a lie. All democratic, educational, financial, and government systems are built upon a lie. The word system comes from a Latin word. The ancient Romans used this word to describe their sewer. In fact, they called it the system. How funny? Ridiculous, okay? So this is actually where the word system actually comes from. It literally was used to describe the ancient Romans sewer, okay? It was literally called the system. And, the point that we're going to get to within this presentation is that all governments around the world are corrupt, and not only within their own right, but on a vast international level. And we're going to explain why that is the case in this presentation. All banks are corrupt. Each and every single bank on this planet is complicit in mass scale corruption. And we're going to get into that. By the way, Jordan Cool says he interviewed Jordan Maxwell for 3 hours. Jordan, I would love to interview Johan. I would love to interview Jordan Maxwell, so if you can organize that, I'd appreciate that. Next, all law enforcement is corrupt. They're all corrupt. The whole system, in fact, is corrupt. All institutions are corrupt, right? Within science, media, medicine, so forth and so on. And the ultimate conclusion is that we've been lied to. Our parents have been lied to. Our forefathers, our ancestors have all been lied to. And the more we explore what we think we understand, where we think we come from, and what we think we're doing, the more we begin to see that we've been lied to by every single institution, including the religious institutions of this world. Now, guys, don't get me wrong. I believe in Jesus. I'm a very spiritual person. I'm going to use person because person is referring to a legal entity. I'm a very spiritual man. And I definitely do believe in Jesus, but I also believe in evil. And evil hides in plain sight. So, of course, evil had gone ahead and taken control of all religious systems throughout the world. And we're going to get into some facts surrounding that, if you're still not convinced yet. So even the Knights Templars, right? The Knights Templars set up the international banking cartels in the 12th, 13th, and 14th century. The same people who gave you your corrupt education, scientific, and government institutions. And I mean, this makes absolute and total sense because back in the day, religious institutions were the government. And what's happened is things have just become more modernized and reinvigorated and repackaged. So we've actually lost a lot of the history that is still alive today in these systems we use on a day-to-day basis. So the real truth is that people who have put all these systems in place have been in power for thousands of years, up until this very day. It has just been reinvented and remodeled throughout time to the point that its origin has been kept a secret. I just noticed there's some typos in this presentation. I'm a little dyslexic, so excuse me for that. So to begin this presentation, what I want to go ahead and do is I want to actually start off by looking at the occult. In order to understand the true nature of these illusionary systems and deceptions put in place, we need to explore occult theology. And the word occult itself simply means hidden. So let's start off by having a look. Let me just change the screen here. Let's start off by having a look at the rabbis, the priests, and the judge. Can you notice something they all have in common? They all seem to be wearing black robes. Now, when you start looking into this world, what you start to understand and realize is that everything ever done, especially by these global, exceptionally powerful institutions, has been thought out with absolute precision. And you got to ask yourself the question, really, is why the black robes? Well, black robes symbolize the priesthood of the planet Saturn. Saturn is known as the Black Sun. They are representing the brotherhood of Saturn. And Saturn was one of the, and is one of the most, is the oldest worshipped god. This was before Judaism. It was before Christianity. And if you look at this college graduate hats, I mean, how funny, we've got college graduates also wearing these black robes. And you've got the square hat. The square also is a symbolic reference towards Saturn, the planet Saturn. And we're going to get into this. It's so interesting. If you look at Saturn, what you end up seeing is that on the north pole of Saturn, there is a hexagonal shape. This appears on satellites. If you have a strong enough telescope, you can observe this for yourself. And you'll see that the North Pole has what seems to be an artificial shape. I mean, there's no way to really explain how there is such a precise hexagonal shape. And what's interesting about the hexagon is it's also representative of the cube. This two-dimensional hexagon is representative of this cube, and the cube is representative of a 2D square. And this is why you find these squares all throughout society, all throughout civilization, whether it's Madison Square, whether it's Town Square, so forth and so on. Even the 9/11 memorial is being turned into a square. And this is a symbology, the same as these words we're going to get into, which has been hidden from us. The meaning of this has been hidden from us. Now, something funny about Saturn is that Satanists worship Saturn. Satanists worship the black sun, and it appears as a Freemasonic symbol in a lot of places. And what you also find is that the black cube represents an ancient Egyptian god by the name of Set, who was the god of evil, darkness, chaos, war, and conflict. And you know what's funny about this? Is that Lord Shiva is the Hindu version of this ancient Egyptian god, because Lord Shiva is the Hindu god of destruction, death, and rebirth. And CERN, this statue that you're seeing in this picture right now, is in a facility within Europe that is funded by countries all over the world. And they've erected this statue of destruction. And it's so funny, and what you're going to be finding as I'm going more and more and more into exploring the occult nature of the information at hand, is that there clearly is an international cross-border power system that exists today. And they seem to be very much rooted in the occult. And we're going to get into that. We're going to explain that. So when you look at the hexagon, which we find on Saturn, what you find is that when you move it outwards, it actually goes ahead and it creates, it's got the cube within it. Now, have you ever wondered where the number 666 has come from? 666 comes from Saturn, the hexagon, because inside of the hexagon, there's the cube, the six-sided cube. And the hexagon itself is a six-pointed shape. And when you extend it out to be a dodecahedron, the Star of David, you get a six-pointed star. Now, this symbol is found throughout. As you can see, there's a picture of it there within a church, probably a Catholic church, to be honest with you, and we'll get into that a bit later as to why that is the case. But this symbol is found throughout. And Saturn is linked to the devil. Worship of Saturn is linked to the symbolic reference of worship of the devil. Now, the Nazis, the SS, also happen to wear black robes or black coats. And you can see on his pockets over there, he's got it's a five-pointed star, sorry. But regardless, they have the eagle at the top there. He's got a skull on his head. These are all satanic symbols. And the Nazis were heavy into occult sciences. In fact, this is a Nazi symbol which is representative of Saturn, representative of the black sun. There was a celebrity that actually got in trouble for this recently. I forgot her name, didn't put her into this presentation either. So let's look at this cube. Now, this black cube, you actually find it all over the world. Here are some examples. We got Kaaba black cube, right, in Saudi Arabia. Interestingly, the black cube is also found in very strange monoliths all over the world. The Kaaba is the black cube in Mecca that Muslims claim was built by Abraham, and they are always expected to pray towards it. Now, what did I say to you? That the cube and the hexagon are representative of the number 666. Let's look at the United Nations building within New York City. The United Nations have a meditation room dedicated to Saturn, the black sun in New York. And this is one of many examples. I just haven't put all of them in this presentation because of the time I had available. The Jewish as well, they have the Tefillin. Jewish people regard Saturn as a planet that rules the Jewish people. In fact, the correct word is Shabbatai. In Hebrew, which is a reference to Saturn, Jews worship Saturn on Shabbat. Shabbat is on Saturday, the 6th day, 666. Okay, 98% of Judaism is worship of Saturn, and most Jews don't even know this. And this is why the Star of David is there, because it's a six-pointed star. It's representative of the cube, the black sun. Here are these monoliths that can be found all over the world. This is found everywhere. Australia, Denmark, Manhattan, Santa Ana. And what this is showing you is that these black robes, these black cubes, these religions, they all have very, very strong commonalities within the symbols that they are actually presenting. And what we come to understand is that the world is run by religion, politics, and money. The earth today is run by religion, politics, and commerce. They're all directly interconnected. And we're going to get into that. Here's the Pope, with one of many presidents, Donald Trump, and let's hope Donald Trump's a good guy. That'd be great. Help us out, Donald. But for now, we got Earth United. We're going to do our best, and we're going to win this stuff ourselves and take power into our own hands. And I'm going to explain to you why any government system is actually satanic in nature. Now, when we look at the Roman Empire, what most people don't realize is that the Roman Empire is still in control to this very day, as it controls the world's religion, commerce, and politics. There's a Roman maxim in law. And it basically says, for he who be deceived, let him. Right? And that means that if you're too ignorant to understand the nature of these words, the nature of these symbols, then even within Roman law, which transcends to all judiciary systems across the world, because the word civil means Roman law, if anyone is too ignorant to understand what we're doing, and if they're not smart enough to understand they're being deceived, then let them be deceived. And you know what's so funny about this? That this is so similar to satanic ideology. In fact, proper initiated Satanists believe that if people are ignorant enough to be deceived, then that is their problem, and that they have the right to deceive the ignorant people of this world. Now, this is a statue of Baphomet, which has actually been erected out what I believe to be a courthouse. How unbelievable, because these courthouses are satanic in nature, and I'll get into that. And what do we see? We see the pentagram, which is a 5-pointed star, not the 6-pointed star of David. And the 6-pointed star of David is not a totally bad symbol. I believe the cube is a symbol for it's inverted. It's almost like inverted. It's inverted dodecahedron. So this god is an ancient satanic god, Baphomet, and look at what he has. A symbol that you find on the World Health Organization. The two snakes, which are representative of DNA, linked towards the sexual energy, right? And the man is a beast. The man is not a man. The man is a beast. That's a beast. That's not a man. And these two children are looking up to this. The actual statue of Baphomet actually has boobs, female boobs, and a erect penis. Okay, but they put this one up for whatever reason. And what's happening here is this hand gestures are representing above and below and so forth and so on. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that out of curiosity, to show you that the judiciary system and the world government systems are rooted in occult practices and understandings. And remember what I said, occult simply means hidden. So let's look at this, the power of words. It's so important to understand exactly what words mean, especially within relations to governments and laws within these judiciary systems that make up these governments. There's a whole world of occultism operating throughout the world in the lost meaning of words. We have lost our understanding of what these words actually mean because a lot of these words are rooted in Latin. And today we have different understandings and meanings of these words. The wrong words used in a court proceeding could land you up in jail. And that is, my friends, the power of words. So law, okay? The word law stands for land, air, and water. These refer to the three jurisdictions of earth, the jurisdiction of the land, the jurisdiction of the air, and the jurisdiction of the water. Using the wrong words can land you up in the wrong jurisdiction, thereby giving corrupt governments the ability to exert control and ownership over you. And it goes back to why they call learning words spelling. And if you put an S before words, you get swords, because words are even more dangerous than swords. Okay, and they've landed us up in this mess that we're in now. And spelling is almost like using words to cast a spell amongst ignorant people. So it's so important that we become conscious of the meanings of these words. So let's look at the law of the land. The law of the land is essentially common law. It is the people who live on the land who make up the common law of the land. The law of the land is the law of the culture that lives on any particular piece of land, that has come to a consensus agreement amongst themselves. But unfortunately, these corrupt government systems have completely obliterated our understanding of common law and obliterated our understanding of these three different jurisdictions. So let's look at the law of the water. However, there's a higher law that dominates the entire world, which is called the law of the water. The law of the water is referred to as the law of money. Anytime you're using money, you are, or banking, you are now on the law of the water. It's this international, because creating a judiciary system that operates on international maritime admiralty law, you're using the world's oceans to transcend this legal control system across borders. And this is what's happening in these court proceedings that we're just unaware of. So let's look at the word mer. In the ancient Phoenician language, kana meant merchant banker. The word merchant comes from the word mer, for the sea or the water. As a mermaid, we have a merchant. In other words, merchant bankers. And you know what's funny? When you explore the etymological origin of these words, you start finding out some really interesting things. And as I explained to you, in a legal proceeding, these words can land you up in absolute trouble if you do not understand the words you're using. Okay, why do we have to go to court? You go to court because you play games on the court. You know, you get a tennis court. In a tennis court, you have a racket and you're hitting a ball back and forth. These words are not picked by chance. They're very, very serious. And court is a game that the government has all the cheat codes for and has made us, the people, so absolutely ignorant towards the rights it is that we possess. It's probably why they don't teach law in schools, as I explained to you, these education systems, these banking systems, these government systems, so forth and so on, they're all corrupt. They're all absolutely corrupt. So, where do you find, another thing is, the judge, I don't know why this thing isn't here, the judge in a court sits on the bar, and the bar means the bank. Okay, so the judge sits on the bank, right? And where do you find banks? You find banks on each side of a river. They're called river banks. What do banks do? Banks depict the flow of current sea, hence the term currency or cash flow. Water depicts the law of money and the movement of currency. You know, this makes so much sense when you understand how these systems are all built upon maritime admiralty law, which is law of currency. So let's go back there. So what we see here is that ships are referred to as female. All ships are referred to as female. Airships, rocket ships, and sailing ships are always referred to as a female. The reason for this is because maritime banking law says that all ships are female. They're carrying items for money, so they're under maritime admiralty law, as law of the water is referring to law of money. Is this making some sense now, guys? So, ships are referred to as female. When a ship pulls into a harbor, it ties off at the dock, and the captain has to provide the port authorities with a certificate of manifest. Because before the ship arrived, it had not yet manifested. So all ships' products have manifested. All items on the ship come off the water. Each ship has a captain, and the word captain comes from a Latin word, capital or money. How funny? How insane is that? The word captain literally means capital or money. Let's go back here. So the captain represents the money on board of the ship. Wherever the ship sits when it docks is called its berth. She sits in her berth, berthing a ship. The items on the ship are maritime admiralty products because they came on the water and they had manifested as they are docked. How unbelievable is that? When you were born, your mother's water broke. And when you came out, this is why you're required to have a birth certificate. Because just like products coming off of these ships, you are a maritime admiralty product under international law. Your body is considered a maritime admiralty product. And this is why they say your mother has delivered you. Products get delivered to you. If you buy a fridge from a shop around you, they will ship the product to you. The product gets delivered to you, and this is why you were born in a delivery room. Your mother was delivering a product to this international system that has tricked you into maritime admiralty law, law of the sea. You are a maritime admiralty product. And this is why you come out of your mother's birth canal. Are you seeing the link here towards the sea, towards water, towards the law of the sea, maritime admiralty law? As a baby being born, if it dies, then the government loses money on you. So then they require death certificates, just like the products being brought off the ship if they're broken. Your birth and death certificates have to be signed by the dock. All of these words are maritime admiralty banking words and terms. They are all used with absolute precision. There's no coincidences here, guys. The people who have set up these systems have literally done this by unbelievable design. And these words that we're not so sure of the meaning of that we use on a day-to-day basis, are just almost like casting a spell over us, keeping us in this ignorant cycle of slavery, unfortunately. So when you're born, an unlawful conversion takes place. When you're born, you get a birth certificate, and you're actually being unlawfully converted from a man or a woman into incorporated government property without your full consent or understanding. Because of the lack of consent or understanding, this actually means that constructive fraud is being committed against you. This means that the entire international system as we know it is based upon fraud and deception. It means the whole system is invalidated because it's a fraudulent, corrupt system. So let's look at this, the law of the sea versus the law of the land. Through this process, the international law of commerce is being unlawfully superimposed onto the law of the land. Men and women make up the law of the land. So what this means is that the powers that be are actually committing mass-scale fraud and treason against us. They're using words and certain protocols to essentially continue to trick us into their jurisdiction, control, and ownership. As soon as you're born, you're actually being killed on paper, and you're being unlawfully entered into the land of forms and paper, which is subsequently the land of the dead. You are not your name, and you're not your ID number either. What you are is a living man or woman, and you're most certainly not government property, yet the government has claimed you from birth as their property. And you know what's funny about this, my friends? What's funny about this, and this is just my own little bit of speculation, if you look in the book of Revelations, I believe we're in the time of Revelations now, and I believe with the correct knowledge we can properly interpret what is being said there. And it'll be doom and gloom for some, and it'll be heaven on earth for others. And I believe when it was speaking about returning man from the dead, I believe this is what it's referring to. It's referring to our crusade, and anyone's crusade dedicated towards addressing this unlawful conversion within a public court proceeding, and finally actually bringing man back from the dead. Because this world of incorporated paper and forms, this world of identification records and ID numbers, is the world of the dead. So when we go ahead and we address that, and we actually claim our individual sovereign and divine rights as man, what it is essentially, symbolically speaking, we're returning ourselves back from the dead. That's what it is that we're doing. So what roles do banks play exactly? Banks, through politicians and legislative systems, set up a body of laws used to further extract money from people's bodies out of your sweat equity. Your sweat equity is basically your labor. Essentially, any government system is simply based around commerce. And it's based around draining your energy. And at the end of the day, you're just a human resource. The evil system has enslaved you to use you as a resource. Money is energy. The system was put in place to control the flow of currency. And how funny is that? That electricity is also referred to as electrical currents and electrical currency. Because at the end of the day, it's energy. And what's funny about this is it reminds me of the movie The Matrix. It reminds me of the movie The Matrix. Because in The Matrix, what was happening in The Matrix was that Neo had woken up from his sleep and realized that all humans were being used as batteries to power this system, this negative system that is keeping people in an illusion. Okay. And this is what people think this is how people think governments are actually built. It's first God, then us the people, a legislative branch, executive branch, judiciary, federal bureaucracy, so forth and so on. But this is a lie. This is an absolute lie. Every democracy is actually a communist state. Your democracy is communist in nature. They're giving you the illusion of choice. I mean, think about it, guys. When you're born, they unlawfully binding you into essentially an unlawful contract, which is not a contract because you can't enter a contract without your full consent to understanding. Yet that's what they're doing anyway. So the whole system is built upon the basis of mass scale fraud. Does that sound like communism to you? Sounds like communism to me. Sounds like communism to me. So this is actually how the system is built. The pharaoh, and it's funny because law is transcended down from the Pope. It's transcended down from the Vatican. Okay, and the Vatican gives these bureaucracies, or it gives, in particular, it gives these monarchs divine rights. So it goes back to that statue of Moloch where the man is depicted as a beast, because us humans are actually considered as beasts towards royalty and considered as beasts towards the Vatican and Roman Empire. We are not considered as man and woman, and this is actually what's happening in law, which is not actually law. It's just legal nonsense that it's used to actually take away our divine right from us. God, your creator, or whatever you want to call it, had brought you into this world. The government didn't create you. Did the government create you? The government didn't create you. So how is it that the government has any right over you? They don't. And the only way they're actually able to get any of this right over you is to continuously, through perpetuated ignorance, trick you into the system time and time and time again. So when we look at this pyramid, and this is funny because you're going to see this pyramid come up in a lot of symbology within regards to Illuminati and within regards to Freemasonry. You see that this top-down system essentially says that, it's power from the top down. And the slaves, look here, in this thing, it says nothing about people, the man of the land. In fact, they're considered slaves, right? And the slave sweat equity is being transcended as power all the way up the pyramid. And this is a society. It's not a community, because there's no equal power. And in this situation, man is not considered as equal, right? And this is a situation we find ourselves in. They're giving you the illusion of democracy. They're giving you the illusion of equality, but their whole system is not even built upon the basis of that. Because if you were equal, then you would be equal as your presidents or whoever it is, and they would have absolutely no ability to have any right over you. Okay, so this is actually what's going on. It's so satanic in nature. There we go. There's the pyramid appearing again. This is literally on money. What did I tell you guys? I told you that the law of the sea, International Maritime Admiralty Law, is the law of money. That's what I said to you guys, right? So how funny is it that the dollar, which is the standard of all currency throughout the world right now, since we had converted from the gold standard towards paper-based currencies, how funny is it that it has a pyramid on it? The all-seeing eye. You know why the all-seeing eye is there? Is because the system, the people who had created the system, they're aware of how the system works, but all the commoners are not aware. Therefore, they have all the power. Therefore, they're sitting at the top of the pyramid. Therefore, we are transcending our power in money and sweat equity towards them. That's what's happening. So let's look at this. International Maritime Admiralty Law. All lawyers, judges, courts, and governments are all under International Maritime Admiralty Law, and they're actually all employed by a private corporation. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. All religions and churches around the world operate under maritime law. And look, I believe in God, I believe in goodness, but I believe in evil, and evil hides in plain sight, my friends. Do never take that for granted. Never, ever take that for granted. Now, let's look at this, guys. In this picture over here, these guys are looking at each other, and they're almost like smiling and smirking with these evil faces of theirs, because they're like, well, we know we're screwing everyone over. That's what we're doing. We're screwing everyone over with their own ignorance. So all churches around the world are products of maritime admiralty banking. And sorry for these typos, guys. I created this presentation today. And yeah, I can't wait to have a team and so forth and so on. Nonetheless, The point I'm getting to in showing you how the system is, what the system actually is that freedom is an illusion. Forget make America great again. Let's make America sovereign again. Before 1868, all Americans were considered sovereigns. Being a sovereign gives you the right to be yourself without being an international product owned by international banks and governments. In 1868, there was a company that was founded, and in that particular company, the founders of that company called it the United States Corporation. This corporation stipulated that anybody who would be a member of that corporation or work for the corporation would be considered as a citizen. And this is where it gets a little bit ridiculous, and this is where I'm going to show you the power of words. Are you a citizen? Can you answer that yes or no? You don't want to be a citizen, and I'm going to explain to you why it is you don't want to be a citizen. In court, if they ask you if you're a citizen of the United States or any other country, you might think they're asking you if you're conducting business lawfully in this country, if you're lawfully conducting business. But that's not lawfully what is being asked. They didn't ask you if you are in America lawfully. They asked you a specific question. Are you of your own volition, out of your own mouth, testifying that you are a citizen of the United States, of South Africa, of so forth and so on? So being a citizen of the United States means you are an employee of a foreign corporation. America is the land. The United States is the privately owned corporation. It's the same in any democratic nation across the world. America is just a really good example of this. Citizen of the United States means you are an employee of a foreign corporation, and this is how they're tricking you. This is how they're using words to trick you into this evil, satanic, slave-based control system. It's unbelievable, right? You are a man or woman of the land. You're not a man or a woman of a private corporation known as your government. So when we look at this picture, we see all these evil bastards all smiling because they're all here smiling at the fact that they're absolutely screwing everyone over because of everyone's ignorance. This is why they're smiling. They're all evil, and they're all presidents, and they all were presidents of a private corporation. No matter what country you're in, whether you have a prime minister or a president or whatever the case may be, they are just presidents of a private corporation. And presidents is a word that is used in corporate law. Banks have a president, all companies have presidents. United States and every other democratic corporation is actually a privately owned company. And when people realize this, they're actually going to realize their rights. The government has absolutely no rights to go ahead and enforce these statutes, acts, and legislations over you, because it's just the same as parking tickets and all the other nonsensical legal rules and regulations that they put in place. They are optional, but nobody knows they're optional because nobody's telling you that they are. And whenever you go to courts, whenever you're encountering these people, they're tricking you back into maritime admiralty law, and they're tricking you back into this converting yourself into incorporated government property, into a government product, a product of maritime admiralty law. That's what's happening. So, let's go back here, and what we see is that all these democratic nations are actually privately owned out of England. And this is why England is, and London is the banking capital of the world. Well, it's actually Switzerland, but nonetheless, and I'll explain to you why it's Switzerland. But before Switzerland, it's London, right? And that money is actually all getting directed to Rome, and it's all getting directed towards the Vatican. That's what's happening. And the reason as to that is because the Vatican, the whole idea behind the Vatican is that the Pope believes he is God's right-hand man, and he is holy and he is godly, therefore he has divine rights, and therefore he is the only one with the ability to administer divine rights. So what does he go ahead and do? He administers divine rights towards royalty, towards his monarchs. And what that means is that it's actually going ahead and saying that you're not a product of maritime admiralty law, you are a man or woman. a divine man or woman. And this is what's happening. They are tricking us into being beasts. That's why when you go back to that picture of Moloch, you see that Moloch is this beast, it's a satanic creature, because man is a beast, because that's how these people consider us to be. They consider us to be beasts, just workhorses, just cattle, which are converting sweat equity, converting energy to fuel their system from the bottom up. And it's absolutely satanic because, you know, I mean, look at male and female. The male and female is used to describe animals, the sex of animals. Okay, if you want to refer to the sex of man, you refer to it as either man or woman, not male or female. And this is what they're doing. They're using this language to constantly keep tricking you into being this beast, this maritime admiralty product that's dead within this legal world of paper and fiction. And they are actually taking away your godly rights away from you. And we're not free. For as long as we don't realize this, we will not be free. And that's our mission at Earth United. Our mission is to shine this light with this beautiful solution we have, and to provide freedom for all. So the conclusion of all of this is that words have the power to enslave you. Our ignorance is our greatest enemy, and it is giving these ancient evil private corporations the ability to exert control and ownership over us. If you learn the power and meaning of the words, then you will learn to gain the keys to the kingdom, which will allow you to step outside of government jurisdiction. And this all comes down to learning how to correctly access these public courthouses as a man, and not a product of maritime admiralty law. And this is what's so beautiful about common laws. It gives you the ability to stay within the law of the land instead of this evil law of the sea, which is law of money, law of commerce. And that's, you know, when you're born, a bond is created on your name. And not only is a bond created on your name through your birth certificate, but insurance is also placed on that bond, so that when you die and you get a death certificate, then the government and the Vatican actually cash out on your death, on the insurance of your death. This is why they love war. This is why they love destruction. This is why our food's poisoned, our water's poisoned, so our media's poisoned, so forth and so on. Where our medicine, everything is poisoned, because they're making money off our life, and they're making even more money off our debts. And each and every single individual is being unlawfully traded on a stock exchange. And I believe in America there's about $6 million on your head, but you don't want to play around with that money, because at the end of the day you're just going back into the evil system. And we don't care about your money. What we really care about is being able to actually declare our freedom and declare our sovereignty. So Earth United is, for those of you that might be new to this, is that okay, so that's the end of the presentation, guys. Anyone that wants to donate, please go ahead and donate. We need donations now more than ever. I've gone ahead and we put an application into development, and we have the Android version coming out, but I still have to continue to keep fundraising for the iOS version. And what it is at which I'm going to explain to you right now what the purpose of this application is for. As you know, on Facebook, they are just shutting down everyone. And Earth United, what it is that we're doing is connecting all of these organizations, these individual experts, these advocates, so forth and so on. And we're all getting together and saying that, look, we understand that there is a diminishing window of opportunity, and we understand that something needs to be done. So let's go ahead and all band together and get this people power. So I believe in smart, innovative solutions. So I wanted to create an application where the application could, and I'm going to go into this now as I pull out my software. So yeah, so this application is working in conjunction with our website. It's working in conjunction with our current strategy towards getting 100,000 people in each in 4 different countries across the world to support our common law councils of laws, our specialists that we have across the world, who are going to be leading these public court proceedings, and they're going to be addressing this unlawful conversion that's taken place in birth in a public court proceeding, which gives us the people to step within our own rights, within the law of the land, outside of incorporated legal fiction. And it's giving us the ability to step inside and stay within our own jurisdiction. And this is something that's been hidden from us, and this is the truth and the light that we're coming forward to share with the rest of the world. Okay, Quantum Consciousness, thank you so much for your contribution. I really do appreciate that. Let's see. Okay, so I wanted to show you this actual application so we can just speak about it a little bit. Okay, great. So here we go, guys. So this is the application, and essentially what it's going to allow you guys to do is it's going to allow you to log on. It's going to allocate you as per your town, as per your region. And what that's going to do is it's going to put you in chat groups in your town, in your city, and in your country. This is going to help connect you guys, and it's going to help you develop strength in numbers for whatever nonsense these guys go ahead and throw towards you. And what this is also dedicated towards is actually being able to not only create communication within your direct networks. As you can see, there are 3 buttons down there, which is your town, your city, and your country. But it's also going to allow us to communicate better with you. And this will be the first version. It's going to expand and progress going forward as we're able to crowdsource more support from you guys, because all of this truly does depend on your support. It really does. And right now I'm in the process of fundraising so we can get this application built, and so that we can use this application to track and monitor how many people we have before we go ahead with the solution that it is that we're proposing. And the application is not only right now, its primary focus is to help with providing the solution, but going forward into the future, its goal is to solve collaboration and communication issues amongst lovely, wonderful people like yourselves and organizations out there that are trying to provide smart and innovative solutions that can be used and shared and templated across the world, as after we're actually able to win this pursuit, and after we're able to go ahead and get rid of all this corruption and tyranny. So I just want to go ahead and say thank you for some donations. We just got a donation here from Lorraine Butcher. Thank you so much, Lorraine. I really do appreciate that. And we got one as well here from which doesn't really show a name, Lee Varney. And Quantum Consciousness, thank you, Quantum Consciousness, I really appreciate that. So I'm just trying to pull up this application screen just so I can show you a bit more. So guys, yeah, that's the situation we find ourselves in. Oh, and that's also what I actually wanted to do. I wanted to show you the website, but there's always glitches, isn't there? And this is what happens when you're doing this by yourself. I'm working with a local development company here, and I'm very excited for the fact that we're going to be doing this, because this has never really been seen before, and it's never been needed as much as it's been needed now. Okay, cool. So let's check this out. So here we've got the chat feature. So this is what's really awesome about this, and no one's really done this before, is that you're going to be able to chat to people in your direct town, and it's going to show you the numbers of fellow Earth warriors within your direct town, and it's really going to give you that safety within the realm of common law to actually know that you're connected towards your fellow brothers and sisters. It's going to have this mapping system that's going to allow you to be able to switch between those 3 modes, which is going to allow you to see how many people within your network you have within your country, your city, and your town. And eventually, as we progress further, you'll be able to click this. And as you see, when you go towards your town, it will show you your direct network of people around you. It's not actually going to show direct locations. The only time we're going to require GPS location is when you first log into the app, so it can authenticate that you actually are who you say you are, and you are in the position that you're in. It's also going to keep track of the countries and our goals to see us being able to hit our goals. Now look guys, don't join our cause and don't download this application if you aren't serious about actually supporting this and actually coming forward and supporting these public court proceedings that we're going to go ahead and have. Otherwise, we're really not going to be able to go ahead and do this. It's just not going to make any sense. So yeah, I mean, that's the application. Just showed you all of that. Let me switch back to myself and let's do some question and answer time. Okay, cool, guys. So thank you very much. Any fundraising would go an absolutely good way, and uh, we'd appreciate that a lot. But let's just check what's happening right here. I'm glad you guys enjoyed the presentation, so you guys can go forward, and yeah, the application is going to work all over the world. Um, so you know how. So we got any questions? Let's see some questions. I got a question here from M. I think it's a question. It says, "How come YouTube are taking people down who don't fit their agenda? They keep your channel up. Seems dodgy. No, think about it. People, this guy is just a distraction." Okay, all of a sudden I'm apparently a distraction. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. I'll tell you why I'm still up on YouTube. It's because I'm just about to hit 20,000 subscribers. They start messing with you if you're like in 200,000 subscribers, 2 million. So fortunately enough, I am still under the radar. I want you to understand that we're not playing games here. I'm not doing this for fun. We are not doing this for fun. We're doing this because the world is in a very serious position right now, and it requires each and every single person to take responsibility and accountability for themselves and all the people that exist on this planet. It's time to stop thinking about just yourself and just your family. It's time to think about all the kids, all the kids that are being abducted, that are being raped, that are being sold. It's time to start thinking about all the homeless people, all the people dying of starvation. It's time to start thinking about those around us, because this is the consciousness that we're moving towards. It's a planet of consciousness of unity and accountability and responsibility for ourselves and our fellow brothers and sisters. Global Witness, thank you very much for your contribution. We really appreciate that. Okay, what else have we got there? The defensiveness is a sure sign of something to hide. Confidence is low, dominance is high. You're no better than anyone. You're draining my energy by keeping your magic solution a secret. Okay, Mitch, love and cool. Have a great day, man. Chat later. I have many good constructive questions, but you're completely turned off with your defensiveness and being rude to people that don't think exactly like you. You can't access the truth without criticism. Guys, I've addressed this criticism. He's asking about why our code isn't open source. Okay? Open source code is when a whole lot of developers come together and code this application for free. Are you a developer? Are you going to come forward and code this application for free? Are you going to come forward and help us do this? If you're not, then what is the point of having open source code? We can make our code visible for you to be able to see. That's no problem. You can look at the code of any application. You know this, right? You can go ahead, and if you know what you're doing, you can go ahead and look at the code embedded within each application. So, I mean, that's it. It's as simple as that. If you're not going to come forward and do what it is that we're doing, then you can't really make demands. You can't sit here and make demands, because that's all you're doing. You're sitting here and making demands. We're doing the hard work. You're just simply making demands. That's all you're doing. At the end of the day, you're going to have an application that's going to help in ways that you cannot imagine. It's going to help like you can't believe. Okay, so it's really as simple as that. There we go. Your question's answered. I haven't deflected your question. I've answered the question. There it is. I sent a waiver of torts and notice to all public servants, to the local chief of police. Time to stand up. So Chris always educates me about this all the time. He says that sending notices towards police, sending notices towards constitutional court or towards government is no better than sending a notice towards the corporation of McDonald's or Burger King. They are a private corporation at the end of the day, and your request absolutely mean absolutely nothing. So it's not about addressing the police. If anything, we need to get the police on our side. We need to educate the police about this, and we need to get their support. Going towards Verity's information. Jesse, can you speak about the progress being made for filing common law documents? The documentation and everything is all sorted. That process is all done. But right now, I've been instructed not to share this at this moment in time. It will be shared in the coming months. Quite soon within this year, as well as very explosive videos we have videos that are so explosive that if I do put it up on my channel, then we're going to go ahead and they're definitely gonna potentially block my channel. I might put it on there, but the goal is to have our application ready so that we can keep all this awesome content coming out to keep educating you about this. Okay, So Verity Love, within regards to the documents, that's the question. They can be drawn up so easily. There's a lot of stuff happening in the background. We have unbelievable people joining our cause, and they are all switched on. They understand the simplicity of the solution, and it's absolutely remarkable. In fact, and we're talking about countries all over the world, and I am so relieved with the amounts of positive progress we've been actually able to make, thanks to people like Chris, thanks to people like Simone. They are absolute stars, and they've done such a good job of being able to do some remarkable networking in the backgrounds, connecting towards very notable and powerful people of all sorts of different levels around the world that are really dedicating all of their time and resources towards actually freeing us. We're in a situation that is so serious, and the vast majority of people do not realize the serious nature of the situation we're in. So if I seem a little bit I guess in a very determined energy, if I'm coming across a bit rude, I do apologize. But at the end of the day, guys, I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm doing this from a place of love, but at the same time, this is a very serious mission, and I'm trying my best in the best way possible. Sometimes I'm not always doing it the best way, but I'm really doing my best to convey myself in the best way possible to help you realize the serious situation we're in and this diminishing window of opportunity that we have. And it really is up to us to finally band together to go ahead and do this. So yes, Carl Jackson said legal is not lawful, legislation is not law, legislation is slavery and rule, legislation is only given to the force of law and consent of the governed. You will find the governed wearing masks. You're absolutely right. I'm definitely not going to go ahead and argue with that. I'm doing my best to grow as an individual, grow as a person, to put myself in a better position where I'm able to be more graceful in my actions. I have a lot of people that are guiding me towards doing that. So if you stick around and you work with me and you be patient, I will do my best to transcend my character to make sure that I can deal with these situations from a better state of energy. Kevin Buckley, you're doing a great job. Keep it up. If your YouTube channel gets taken down, you have an alternative like BitChute lined up? Yes, we're actually creating our own application. That's part of the reason why we're creating our own application. Like, the mission we're on is quite dangerous, but I have a lot of faith and love in God, so I believe that that's the only thing that can protect me, and that's the very thing that will protect me, and that's the very thing that's allowing us to be this successful in this mission. We are working very hard, but there's a certain element of divine synchronicity and luck that is required to meet us halfway in this hard work that we're doing. And what's so fortunate about all of this is that everything's flowing. I can't believe it. I'm so happy. I'm so relieved. When I started this journey, if you saw some of my videos, I look like a zombie. I look like a dead person because the stress is really getting to me of trying to figure out how are we going to do this. And this is why we say we need your help. We need any bit of your help we can get, whether it's financial contributions or whether it's sharing this, facilitating this conversation, this narrative. And if you go ahead to our website, which I'm actually just going to go ahead and share right now, you'll see that if you haven't done it already, then please go do it, my fellow brothers and sisters. Please go ahead and make sure that you go on our website, which is in the link below, and you connect to our global alliance right now. We don't want names or surnames or anything. All it is we want is just your location so we can help understand which court houses are within your nearest vicinity, which you can go ahead and contribute towards this mass global action that we're planning on go ahead and taking. If we go ahead and see our current network right now, we have an absolutely awesome growing network that's growing each and every single day. We believe that when our application comes out and when a lot of the very sensitive communication pieces that we're working on comes out, then that will really give us the opportunity to really get a lot more traction. But fortunately enough, as I said, in the background, we've been making some awesome strides, and that's really come down towards all these beautiful networks that we've connected with that have their own very big networks within the different various countries that we're working within, which at this moment in time we cannot go ahead and reveal, but the application will allow you to see that. If you want to help, we would really love your help. You can go on over to the campaign page. I went ahead and I created this campaign page so that it can give you very explicit instructions of what it is exactly we're doing and how it is that you can go forth and help. You can go ahead in your own right, email your favorite truthers. You can email and you can use this document in the videos that and share this page with any network or any people around there, and they can, as a request to join our alliance. We do require the support of everyone, and we're humble enough to realize that. So anyone, if you really want to be able to help, head on over to our campaign page, and it gives you very explicit instructions as to how it is you can use this information on here to share this towards other networks, other organizations, whether it's getting interviews or getting other bigger networks involved in our cause to get up on our numbers on our database of people that are committed towards this mass global action. Okay, let's look at some more. And we've got some explosive videos on the way, which I cannot even reveal who they're with right now, because I've been instructed not to, and it's better that way, but we will reveal it shortly enough. He says, you guys with this political correctness, this is Sage Vex Stephen Lestorm. That's an interesting name. You guys with this political correctness mind probably need to join the source of this info. Jesse said it from the very beginning. Jordan Maxwell show. Yeah, definitely go ahead and check out Jordan Maxwell. Jesse, you can't please everyone. You're absolutely right. I'm learning that. I'm gonna definitely not attempt to try please everyone right now. Thank you guys so much. It's been absolutely awesome talk. We're gonna keep it at 1 hour 22 minutes. I don't want to go over to 2 hours and drag this out longer than it needs to be dragged out. I'm going to be doing a lot more research on my end to be helping enlighten you guys. This week we've got some awesome interviews. I've got an interview tomorrow with Simone. We're going to be speaking about Earth United and what it actually, as much as we can talk about what's happening in the background. Simone's absolutely awesome. She is the founder of Event202, and she is part of Earth United and working very close with us. I'm so grateful for us. And then I'm going to have a talk with Christopher. That will be the last talk for a very long time on my channel with Chris. All other talks will be happening on his channel, so if you want to see what Chris is talking about, you can head on over to a warrior calls, like a warrior, you know. You guys can go ahead and check that out, and yeah, please go ahead and do that. And wow, Mitch Lovins, you really need to go and meditate and take it easy, man. You need to meditate, man. You're bringing a lot of dense energy to this situation right now, and you need to just, I send you love. Like, stick around. Don't go away. Anyone, don't go away. Stick around. We love you. It's gonna get a bit tense at times. I'm learning to be more loving in my approach, but dude, we're on a pursuit for everyone's freedom. We're trying to help everyone out here, so please understand that we care a lot, and all we're trying to do is trying to help. That's all we're trying to do. So I do hope you realize that. I do hope you realize that I am, for the most part, quite a normal individual, and I'm doing my best. So thank you guys so much for absolutely lovely show. It's been an absolute pleasure sharing that with you. I hope you enjoyed that information. I'm going to be doing some more research, and I have so much fun doing this research. I really do. It's amazing because it's mind-blowing to show us what's beneath the deception, and when you look beyond the deception, you see how much power we actually have. So nonetheless, thank you guys so much. I love you guys a lot.